heroclix Popper team coming right up.
Mr. Clicks Flick is brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama, home of the ROC. No matter if you're in the United States or around the world, Lucky Dice Cafe has the winning roll for all your gaming needs. You can visit them at LuckyDiceCafe.com or on their Facebook page using the link found in the description of this video. Mr. Clicks Flicks is also brought to you by TrollandToad.com, one of the largest online gaming retailers. Use the promo code Mr. Clicks Flicks for 5% off your heroclix order today.
Alright guys, so today we're taking a look at a heroclix Popper team for the upcoming ROC State Championship utilizing the Popper format or the modified Popper format or whatever it is you want to call it. So heroclix Popper is a thing that's been around for a little over a year now, and what it started off as was you could use common or uncommon figures, no fast forces or anything like that. However, now that the ROC is looking at it, as well as WizKids, they asked that a few things be added to it, such as fast forces, the prime figures from X-Men, the animated series, the Danger Room constructs, not the regular prime figures, as well as the fast forces and starter set items. Any map is legal. And that's about it. And the WWE clicks are going to be legal. And they're also going to have a Highlander rule or a Super Highlander rule, whatever it is you want to call it, where you can only have one of any particular figure on your team. It doesn't matter if it says various or anything like that. So there's a bunch of teams that seem really good for this, but I, in particular, this is the team that I'm looking at running and I've been playtesting. So you guys let me know in the comments below if you think I'm onto something or if I should just scrap this and do something else. If it looks familiar to you, it's because, in hilarious fashion, myself and Jason from Married with Clicks basically came up with the same team. I don't know if that's good or bad. I was joking about it with him the day that he uploaded his video about how our teams were very similar. But anyway, hopefully I've got a few folds here that he doesn't have and can talk you into doing this Sentinel theme team. So this is a +5 Sentinel theme team. Our main attraction here is the 175 point Nimrod, followed by a 33-point Sentinel, and we're going to be utilizing him on his Perplex Click. Then we have a Boulevard Trask. He's 35 points. Senator Robert Kelly at 30 points and a 5-point Friend of Humanity. Those are our main figures. Then we're going to have a 5-point Dune Buggy just as some blocking terrain. And we're going to be using the Skull Camp map to our advantage when possible. And then we also have 3 student ID cards that we're going to be using. So just to look at this team, it doesn't really look like too much. The Nimrod's really good, obviously. But other than that, it doesn't really look like too much is going on here. But the reason why, we'll start with the map. The reason why I picked the Skull Camp map is because I believe that this current state championship, there's going to be a lot of Colossals because there's a lot of Popper legal Colossals. So that really limits the squares that somebody can be placed in and not possibly take damage from it. So what the Skull Camp map does, in case you're unaware, is you assign it to somebody in your force and anybody that's occupying an orange square that's on the map. And what they have is free roll a d6, and then depending on which d6 result you get, a train rolls through that set of tracks. If you get a 6, you get to pick any track you want, and then you make an attack roll as if you had a 2 attack and 2 damage, and then and you make that attack roll against all characters that are occupying that track, and then on a successful roll, those characters are placed adjacent to that track, and the active player gets to choose where they get placed. So that's just really helpful there. I think it's going to be helpful for positioning the opponent's team. The Dune Buggy's here just to make it so there's even less legal squares for an opponent to occupy, and just make things difficult to move around. I believe the +5 Sentinel theme team is going to be enough to make it so we got a reasonable chance at some map rolls. But if we miss the map rolls, opposing characters get -1 defense against Mind Control, Telekinesis, and Incapacitate because of the map bonus. So some of that stuff Nimrod's going to be able to take advantage of. And this will be utilized to block some certain approach angles. But anyway, so we have Nimrod here, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at his card. and what he does. So let's go ahead and focus up here. All right, and so he's got the Sentinel keyword, obviously. That's what we're doing here. And then he has 2 traits. The first one is at the beginning of your turn, select a standard power. Nimrod can use that power until your next turn. So very good there. Basically, we're able to deal penetrating damage from range. We can do Pulse Wave. We can use Steel Energy to heal back up. Tons of things at our disposal, so that's just good there. Then his other thing is a real showstopper there, which is basically if your opponent attacks and hits, or would hit, you roll 2d6. If your basically your attack roll is higher than theirs, you evade the attack, and after resolutions, deal the attacker damage equal to their printed damage value. So that's very good when playing against certain other figures. Just basically tag them back and not take any damage. And then his other thing is each time Nimrod takes 2 or more damage from an opponent's attack, give him a structured damage token. Free, remove structured damage token and heal him 1 click. So we do have a way to heal here, but we also have an alternate way to heal. We're playing him at 175, like I said. So we're starting off with that 10 movement with facing teleport, 12 attack, 18 defense with invincibility and indomitability, 4 damage with shape change. And he has the flight ability and 8 range dual target, which is actually very respectable. So basically what we're playing with him is fly him somewhere for some support, like ranged support type things, and just sort of ping our opponents from range. And then hopefully his shape change and his defense keep him healthy, and that facing teleport makes it so he can escape and evade a bunch of characters. So really solid choice there. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use this Sentinel at 33 points. And we're using the 33 point dial so that we get that perplex click. So he has a special in his movement, 10 attack, 18 defense with invulnerability and indomitability, 3 damage with perplex. So we're able to get on to either an 11 attack or a 4 damage, or we can help Nimrod out or a bunch of other things, which is pretty good there. Then he has that Prime Directive. I believe we're going to be seeing a lot of Brotherhood or X-Men, probably mostly X-Men. So he's going to get to move 1 square if the... at the beginning of my turn, I can move 1 square, and if they have the Brotherhood or X-Men keywords, I can move an additional square, so 2 squares. And that special on his movement is Plasticity, but affects all opposing characters within 3 squares in line of fire. So that's really helpful for holding characters in place for Nimrod. So that's why I for sure wanted to be on that click. So I know that this doesn't look like there's a ton of offense here, but there are ways to get it out. So we're going to look at one way that we're doing this in a support figure also, which is Boulevard Trask. He has his trait, which is Traded Leadership. If he succeeds, you can either remove a token as per normal, or you can generate a Friends of Humanity figure, or if he's adjacent to 3 or more, he can generate a Sentinel, and then you have to roll for the Sentinel, so it'd be the 25-point Sentinels. So let's see all the different things that a Sentinel could possibly do here. So we've got Charge Super Strength, we've got Stealth and a Special, we've got Force Blast and Range Combat Expert, Sidestep, and Close Combat Expert. So really everything but the Click 4 and 5 are pretty useful. And Click 4 and 5 aren't without use. But I've definitely, if I've been getting on a roll, I really have been getting a lot of use out of Clicks 12, 14, and 16, 17. And then obviously 7 and 8 would be good. Running Shot, Psychic Blast is always good. So that's the idea there, is to get out 2 more Friends of Humanity so that we are adjacent to 3 so that we can start generating the Sentinel. So that's the entire reason this one Friends of Humanity is here. So he's just here so that we only have to generate 2 extra instead of 3 Friends of Humanity. So there's that, and then the special on his damage is Support as free, but only to target characters with the Sentinel or a Robot keyword. Sentinel keyword, Sentinel keyword, Sentinel keyword, Sentinel keyword, Sentinel keyword. So you can see we can heal Friends of Humanity only have 1 click, so it's not worth healing them. But we can heal everybody else on our team, namely Nimrod. So that's why he's here. Now, granted, not the best chance ever at healing. It might be worth it to try to push him to click 3, so that he has a 10 attack. But he does have that special, his entire dial, and he has, like I said, traded leadership. He has sidestep. Nimrod or a Sentinel can carry him around, so you have a good chance at getting a lot of use out of him. So then we have Senator Robert Kelly, and he is basically here for his special on his damage, which is the same as Boulevard Trask, where leadership. But if he succeeds, you can either remove a token or generate a Friend of Humanity if he's adjacent to 3 or more. That Friends of Humanity can be a Sentinel instead. And then he's got this Traitor thing, which is, it is what it is. Hopefully we're not going to have to worry about that. But and then he's got another trait, which is negative perplex, but only to target opposing characters. So you're going to be using it in a negative fashion. Although you could use it in a rope-a-dope type way, where you're perplexing up your opponent's attack and trying to get them to basically damage Nimrod on purpose to try to trigger his thing, so they only need like a 4 to hit and they roll a 4. Then, it's easier to roll, a 5, a 4 or higher, because your roll can be equal to theirs. So that'd be a sly way of using that also. But he's basically here to get out more Friends of Humanity and more Sentinels, because in the format, you are allowed to generate figures. So you can only start the game with 1 of anything. But if a figure like Boulevard Trask or Senator Robert Kelly, there's a few other types of figures out there that generate figures. Loki from the Mighty Thor set generates basically duplicate figures. Those are legal. So make sure to bring that stuff with you if you're using this. I've had pretty good success. So the main difference between my team and Jason's team is he has Graydon Creed instead of this Sentinel to start, because he would like to have more rolls. But the way I'm looking at it is that I'm way more likely. Okay, so if I do this and I succeed on both of my leadership roles to start the game, that gives me 3 Friends of Humanity total and a Sentinel. If we do it with the Married with Clicks team, where it's Graydon Creed instead of the Sentinel, if you succeed on all 3 of your leadership roles, you have 3 Friends of Humanity and a Sentinel. And you didn't get to pick which Sentinel you were on. So I personally, and this doesn't mean that the other team isn't good, I just personally believe that I can go 2 for 2 on leadership roles, but probably not 3 for 3 to turn 1, make it so that I can start generating Sentinels at the beginning of turn 2. So that is my Pauper team. Oh, we didn't talk about ID cards. I have 3 ID cards. Actually, I have 2 ID cards and room for 2 more. So my 2 ID cards I'm definitely going to be using are Rusty at the 25-point Fast Forces one, and the 20-point Jubilee Fast Forces from the X-Men the Animated Series. The other 2 I'm kind of wishy-washy about, trying to find figures that are cheap enough for either the 33-point Sentinel, Boulevard Trask, or Senator Kelly to call in, because anything else, there's not really any cheap figures that I would be comfortable having Nimrod call in right now. Other than, maybe 50-point Kitty Pryde if I was desperate, but she's too expensive for either of these 2 guys to call in, even at her, I believe, 40-point dial. So I'm struggling to find those out. So you guys let me know in the comments below what the last 2 ID cards would be that you'd run on this team. Always find that stuff interesting. If you guys get a chance, make sure to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/MrClicksFlix, as all the money that goes into that comes directly back into the channel and really helps. So that's all I have for you today. As always, please remember that it's only critical miss if you don't have probability control.